Start this off by saying that the way that I structure my eating, the way that I structure the way I run my life is based off of something I learned in the military. And that is the second that you are rigid on a plan, on an idea, on something that you are trying to do, and the second that that idea becomes more important to you than success, the accomplishment of the mission, that is when you are setting yourself up for failure. Things can happen. Life can happen. And if your life gets to a point where your plan doesn't match with your ability to live your life, your ability to stay consistent, then that plan is going to fail you and you are not going to become successful.
Huh? Oh, yeah. You don't like rigidity.
I'm going to let you in on the biggest secret that the fitness industry doesn't want you to know, and it's actually a pretty simple one. Most plans work. Most diet plans and most workout plans work. If you reduce your calories, you eat better food, you move more, you exercise more, guess what? You are going to get adaptations. You're going to start losing weight. You're going to start feeling better. You are going to start getting stronger and more muscular. But here's the biggest issue. What is the biggest secret? The biggest secret is that the best plan is one that you can be consistent on. So if I were here telling you that you had to be on a strict ketogenic diet the rest of your life, you have to eat one meal a day for the rest of your life, then I'd be setting you up for failure because I'm putting you into a rigid situation. I talk about the ketogenic diet because it's a useful tool. I talk about intermittent fasting and one meal a day because they are useful tools. And what I'm trying to get you to understand throughout the body of my work here on YouTube, because I have, I think 5 years of videos up, is that these are all tools that you have at your disposal to not reach your goal unless you put yourself into that rigid position that says that you can only follow this particular plan without making modifications for your life and for your own well-being and ability to stay consistent. For example, I love training with barbells. I've been training with barbells since I've been about 12 years old. I love doing deadlifts, I love doing squats, I love doing Olympic lifts, I love doing presses with barbells. But I have a kettlebell. I keep it in my house. It's a tool, and it's a tool that allows me to train when I don't have a barbell around or when I can't get to the gym. It's also very versatile, and let's say I want to do a really good cardio workout. A day out, I'll carry this thing around for a couple of miles. That doesn't mean that I hate barbells. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to use barbells again, but it means that I have another tool at my disposal to allow me to be consistent. So, whenever I hear somebody on YouTube talking about their way as the only way, when, for example, I recently had Sean Baker on my podcast, and I had a really great discussion with him. And I love Sean Baker. I think he's a great guy. I think that he is trying his best to try to get people to live a healthier lifestyle. But do I agree with his philosophy that a carnivore diet is one of the only ways to heal yourself? No, I absolutely do not. It is too rigid of a concept. And when we start to look at the blood work he's been publishing and his testosterone levels and his digestive levels, we're starting to see that there might be some holes there in the carnivore diet. In my opinion, whenever you're saying that anything out there is the devil, whether it's carbs, whether it's meat, whether it's vegetables, whether it's anything, you are treading on very, very thin ice philosophically and scientifically. And by philosophically, I mean who wants to live their life just knowing that they can't do something? When you tell people they can't do something, they typically do it. About what I do. And basically, I do a combination of intermittent fasting with cyclic ketosis. And I'm going to get into exactly what that means after I give you guys an awesome recipe. So let's get over to the kitchen. So, Shauna and I are supposed to go to the neighbors tonight for dinner, and I am responsible for cooking the side dish. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook up some bacon, some nuts, and some Brussels sprouts. A really good and tasty recipe. I never liked Brussels sprouts growing up, but if you dress them up a bit, you add some bacon to them, they're actually pretty tasty. So what I got here is a half pound of chopped up bacon, just about 1-inch pieces I got there. Then I got some Brussels sprouts. I think this is about a pound of Brussels sprouts. And what I've done is I trimmed the edges off. I cut these bad boys in half. I got a clove of garlic over here. I got some rice vinegar. I got some pepper. I got some salt. I've also got some olive oil. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to dredge these Brussels sprouts in some olive oil right off the bat, and I'll pour some garlic powder, some granulated garlic powder over them. That's going to give these Brussels sprouts some really good flavor. I'm also going to add some Himalayan pink salt in there. So a little bit of my rice vinegar over here, going to stick that in there. Go in and give that a good stir. You see here I have my Instant Pot, and I highly recommend getting one of these. If you don't have one of these, you can get them real cheap off of Amazon. But if you don't have one of these, you could also do this recipe utilizing a frying pan and an oven. It just takes a whole lot quicker with an Instant Pot. You can make so much stuff with these things. When Amazon does their Prime Days, that's the best time to get them. That's when you get the best price. So what I'm going to do here is I've got this thing on the saute setting. I'm going to stick some bacon into the bottom there and start sauteing. Bacon is in there sauteing. I'm going to throw in my chopped up clove of garlic and let that saute in there as well. So that's been cooking for a little bit. You see there's a good amount of caramelization in the bottom of the pan. That's awesome. That's where all the flavor is going to come in for the Brussels sprouts. There's a lot of fat there at the bottom of the pan too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my Brussels sprouts and I'm going to stick those into the Instant Pot. Give that a good stir. I'm going to add some salt. And then I'm going to stick a little bit of pepper in here. I'll show you what to do next. So I'm going to stick, I'm going to turn the freaking fan off. So I'm going to turn this pot on, and you hear it makes that little cool computer noise. So I'm sticking that on there. Okay, going to turn the pot. I'm going to turn the valve to this position right here up the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press keep warm, then I'm going to press manual, and then you see it's on high pressure here. I'm going to reduce that time down to 4 minutes. Okay, so this will start the pressure cooking process here, so that we get some nice, well done cooked Brussels sprouts. Just finished cooking, and what you want to do right now, and this gets a little bit scary for some people. It's not scary for me. I like it, but just pull the switch. And that's going to release the pressure from the pressure cooker. Those things are nice and done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to spoon those out into this baking sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about a half cup of raw walnuts to the mix right here. Okay, sticking that in there. Maybe more than a little more than a half cup, but don't matter. Get some more nuts in there. These are raw organic walnuts. And the last and final thing I'm doing is mixing those nuts up along with some goat cheese into the mixture. Now, once I get these over there, we'll probably stick it into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes at about 350 degrees. Let all that melt into each other. Let those flavors settle, and this will be a fantastic side. So when it comes to what I do and what kind of protocols I'm currently following, basically I'll let you know what that is right now. I fast for about 16 hours per day. So for instance, it's 3 p.m. today, right now, and I just had my first meal. And generally what I'll do is I'll fast for that 16 hours. I'll have a smaller meal to break the fast, and that's generally after I've done some weight training and some cardio activity. And then after that, I'll continue working over here, and at nighttime, once my girlfriend gets home, I'll have a very big, luxurious meal. Right? And I'm talking, I love to cook. I cook a lot of Italian food. I cook a lot of meat. I cook a lot of vegetables, and I like to really enjoy myself at dinner. mainly because it's the only meal of the day that I get to have with my girlfriend Shauna. And it's a very enjoyable experience for me. But beyond that, it also has to do with my schedule. Now, I'll let you know something right off the bat. I very seldom have my clients do anything close to what I'm doing. And I'll very seldom be very rigid about what I'm recommending to any of you. The reason for that is because I understand something about myself that maybe a lot of other YouTube fitness people or trainers don't get. And that is that I live an abnormal lifestyle. I work very hard, but I work out of the comfort of my own home. And yes, I do keep long hours, but again, I'm working on my own stuff. I'm owning my own business. I don't have a whole heck of a lot else to worry about. So if I were to tell somebody else to fast for 16 hours a day and to eat one meal a day at the end of their day, then that person, it might not work for that person. It might be a disaster for that person. There's a lot of people who have very hard labor jobs out there. And I've been one of those people in my past. I was a landscaper for quite a few years. I was in the Marine Corps for quite a few years. And if I were to tell myself that back in the day, I would probably slap myself in the face. So the thing is, somebody comes onto my YouTube channel the other day and they say, dude, you're contradicting yourself. You don't always do one meal a day. And the truth is, I don't always do one meal a day. It depends on what I'm doing that particular day. Some days I'm going to have a really high activity level. Some days I'm going to have a lower activity level. Some days I'm going to be racking my brain out here because I have to do a bunch of stuff for my own business and I'm contracting for London Real. And I have to do a lot of stuff for my students on the London Real Academy. So with that said, different days are going to have different nutritional requirements. So some days I might have one meal a day. Some days I might have multiple meals in a day, but they're all generally going to be in that 8-hour window. Similarly, with ketosis, on some days I'm not going to have any carbs, and that's generally going to be my lower activity days. If I haven't gotten to the gym, if I haven't gotten a really good workout, if I haven't had a lot of activity, then I'm generally not going to eat carbs on those days. But if I've had a really hard workout that day, I'm going to load carbs into the last meal of the day. That's going to be during that luxurious meal. So the bottom line is this. There are a lot of fitness YouTubers, a lot of trainers out there who will tell you what they do, and they will recommend what they do. When I'm talking about something on this channel, it is a tool that you can potentially apply. And that goes for anything. Diets are not meant to be dogmatic. We as human beings have colonized every single aspect of this earth. We live in the Arctic, we live in the jungle, we live in the desert, we live all over the place. And that is because of our ability to adapt. If somebody is telling you to be rigid on something, if somebody is telling you that this is the only way to do things, that's when you should raise your eyebrow. I can't raise my eyebrow like The Rock. And that's the thing. So when Matt and I created Keto Camp, one of the things we really tried to do with it is to show keto in a light where it wasn't a rigid, crazy thing, because we were both pretty mad about the way the ketogenic diet was being portrayed throughout the fitness industry, both by keto advocates and people who were generally opposed to the ketogenic diet. Because there is more than one way to skin a cat, and how you apply your diet and how you apply your ability to keep consistent really depends on you, your schedule, your life, and what you want to accomplish. So that's my take on all of this stuff, guys, and I really hope that you got a lot out of this video. If you want to learn more about starting the ketogenic diet, if you want to learn more about the ketogenic diet in general, check out my free course at www.startketoright.com. Also, I can always use more subscribers to this channel. I've been trying to put more and more content out there for you guys. But if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit that little bell button so you know when my videos are coming up. And, I hope to see you guys around here and see you guys watching my videos, because I'm going to be producing some more awesome content for you later on this week. Talk to you guys soon.